Hi, I'm Kara Rostron, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'll be sharing the classic Cuban chicken soup. It's cozy, it's hearty, and the broth is packed with veggies. It's perfect for when you're sick or just as a hearty comfort meal. Served nice and hot with lots of lime, it's hard to beat. So let's get cooking. The first thing I'll do is rinse all the vegetables. Then I like to put my pressure cooker right next to my cutting board, so as I'm dicing all the ingredients, I can just put it right into the pot. I'll start with the 4 tomatoes. I'll quarter the tomatoes and then dice them into large chunks. There's no need to be precise here as we're just cutting things down so they all fit into the pressure cooker. I cut the celery in the same way. I'm just really trying to break it down so when we are adding things to the pressure cooker, things aren't fitting like awkwardly in there and taking up space. This way everything really just packs in there. The carrots we are going to leave in larger pieces, and you'll see why in a few steps. The green pepper is next. I'll cut around the stem to remove the seeds and give it a rough chop. My recipe only needs 1 small onion, so that's why I'm only using half of this large one. So I'll go ahead and peel it and dice it into large pieces. This part of the recipe is just a lot of chopping, but that's why it's pretty easy, and most of the work is done here and with all these ingredients in the pressure cooker to make the flavorful broth. This is one of the things I actually really like about this recipe. I can do a bit of chopping work at the beginning, then just throw everything in my pressure cooker, let that cook while I do other things, and then putting it together at the end comes together really quickly. Next are the 3 whole garlic cloves. Again, the best way to go ahead and peel these is just to crush them with the back of your knife. That should release the peel really easily. And with the garlic, there's no need to chop it. After I peel it, I just throw the whole thing right into the pot. I'm adding only half a bay leaf to give the classic Cuban flavor, but not to overpower the broth. The last thing for the broth is to add the chicken in. I'll add the drums and the thighs and just arrange them so that everything is nice and flat and not sticking up too much. And then I'll fill the pot with water just until all the ingredients are pretty much covered and submerged. Once all the ingredients are in, we can close the pressure cooker and we'll set it to cook on high for 25 minutes. So while the broth is cooking in the pressure cooker, I like to prep some extra veggies. I like to have some pieces of carrot and celery throughout the soup, so I'll take 1 celery stalk and 1 carrot and thinly slice them on my mandolin so they all look uniform. It's a little extra, but I think this just makes the soup look so pretty and homey. If you don't have a mandolin, you can just cut them as thin as you can with your knife or even into small chunks. Once the pressure cooker is done and the pressure has released, I'll open it and take out the chicken pieces, as careful as possible with the drums so the meat doesn't fall off. I'll also take out the carrots. This is why I cut them larger than the other vegetables so they were easy to pick out. I'll set both the chicken and the carrots aside for now.
Do you know what the secret ingredient is to this channel? You guys hitting like and subscribe. And thanks, you guys are the best.
Now that we removed the chicken and the carrots, I'll get the pot we'll be making the soup in and take the broth and veggies left in the pressure cooker and strain the vegetables out so we're just left with the broth in the pot. The strained veggies can be discarded. I like to take the cooked carrots we separated and puree them into the broth, not only to add some texture and flavor, but also to give the soup that traditional yellow color, but in a natural way. Even though the carrots were pressure cooked and fully cooked, they were a little bit fibrous, so I used some of the broth to help them pass through the strainer better. You can see how nice the broth looks with all the little specks of carrot running through it. So now we can take the pot to the stove so we can go ahead and finish up the soup. We'll put the stovetop on medium heat, and then I'll go ahead and add the additional chicken broth here. I do this because my pressure cooker can only make about 4 to 5 cups of broth, which is too small an amount for my family. I like to make a big pot so we can have a few servings. I'll add 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric in next for additional color and flavor. Now I'll add the sliced carrot and celery. I just eyeball how much to put in just so that there is an even amount of them throughout the soup. I just mix up the soup a few times while I'm doing this so I can see how much there is in there, and I just stop when I kind of like how it looks. Now, we'll take the cooked chicken we had set aside and shred the thighs into the soup. I like to shred with the grain of the thigh so it looks like long strands. The drums I'll wait and add after so they don't break up too much. At this point, I also taste and adjust for salt. Let the soup simmer until the carrots and celery are tender. After they're cooked, you can add in the noodles and give them about 2 to 3 minutes to soften. I add 2 nests for this amount of soup, and I like to break them up. If not, the noodles are super long and difficult to eat in the soup. When the noodles have just about 1 minute left, I add the chicken drums back in so they can heat through, and that's it, the soup is all done. I always feel so cozy when I eat this soup, whether it's for rainy days, cold days, sick days, any day really. This soup is so good. You have the delicious, flavorful broth, the carrots, the celery, just kind of all throughout. And then you have the shredded chicken, which honestly becomes just like the noodles. It's so good. And you gotta have it with lots of fresh lime. It's the only way. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you saw how easy it is to make this soup and that you guys give it a try. Let me know if you do in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.